Hello again, everyone. I'm Joe Longinusa, welcoming you to another edition of Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, the show where industry leaders, golf professionals, and legends all come and discuss the great game we love so much. So without further ado, let's turn it over to our host to tell us who's next on the tee. Chris, take it away.
Hey, thank you, Joe. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me again this morning on Next on the Tee. We are brought to you today by the great folks over at the French Lick Resort. Folks, I'm telling you, they're Pete Dye and Donald Ross designed courses, ranked number 1 and number 2 in the state of Indiana, by the way, by Golf Week, and it was the site of last year's Senior PGA Championship and the LPGA Legends Championship. Please go online and check them out at FrenchLick.com. We're also sponsored by our friends over at the Leather Shop, makers of top-quality, custom-made leather dress, casual, and golf shoes. Folks, do your feet a favor and put them inside some shoes that are going to keep them feeling good and looking good all day long. You can find them online at the-leather-shop.com. And very proud to announce our new sponsors are the folks over at the World Golf Village. You know, that's the home of the World PGA Hall of Fame, World Golf Hall of Fame, I should say. So check them out online as well. I'm your host, Chris Mascaro, and today I have the privilege of sharing 2 great guests with you. And first up is going to be Doug Hollandsworth. Doug has done it all, it seems, around the game of golf. He's hosted a national golf radio show on WCNN and here locally in the city of Atlanta, around the state of Georgia. He's also published, many golf magazines. He's the founder of the, Georgia Golf Trail, which is fantastic, by the way. And we'll talk a lot about that. So I'm looking forward to having Doug here with me in just a few moments. Following, I'll be joined by Dennis Cohn, who is the founder of the Professional Caddies Association, which has helped educate and certify over 22,500 caddies going back to 1997. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more when Dennis joins me near the bottom of this half hour. So we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be another insightful show for you. I'm so glad that you've chosen to take the journey with me again this morning. But let's start the show off right, and that's by helping you start your mornings off right, and that is by going over and checking out our friends over at Aroma Ridge, because they offer an array of the finest mountain-grown gourmet coffees that you're going to find anywhere on the planet, my friends. You can find them online at aromaridge.com. Their secret? Hand-selected beans from a variety of coffee-producing countries from around the world, and they roast those beans to perfection by their very own roast masters. And those, coffee beans, folks, I'm telling you, they are roasted specifically to order specifically for you. And if you're like me and you like a little bit of flavor in your coffee, well, you can, find any, flavor that you can imagine there, and you can even create one of your own if you want to mix and match some flavors. Biscotti cookies. Can we talk about biscotti cookies? They're absolutely out of this world. And not only are their coffees and their cookies great, but they're fantastic people to work with as well. Check out all of their great products online at aromaridge.com. And like I say, Next on the Tee is brought to you by our friends over at the French Lick Resort up in French Lick, Indiana. Folks, you want to talk about a spectacular resort to both play golf and just relax and enjoy yourself. Well, you're not going to find a better place anywhere on the planet than the French Lick Resort. Go to FrenchLick.com and see how you can find out more information about them. And as a matter of fact, let's hear a word from them.
Now's the time to plan that golf getaway you've been dreaming about at French Lick Resort. We have new Golf Academy packages for 2016, guaranteed to take your game to the next level. Try our one-day Quick Fix Academy for golf emergencies. For more in-depth learning, try the Game Changer, designed to make you a better player. Our staff professionals are ready to work with you at French Lick Resort. Did you know there's only one place in the country that you can play courses designed by 2 members of the World Golf Hall of Fame on the same property? The Pete Dye and Donald Ross courses at French Lick Resort make us an ultimate golf destination for 2016. Check out the Ultimate Golf Package, the Hall of Fame Package, and other great offerings at FrenchLick.com. Let 2016 be that year you finally take your dream golf getaway at French Lick Resort. Play the courses champions play.
Yeah, I promise you, it is spectacular. My family and I can't wait to get back up there again this year. The French Lick Resort needs to be on your list of places to stay and play. And oh, by the way, my friends, they also have a casino right there on the property as well. For more information and to book your stay, go to FrenchLick.com. And every week here on Next on the Tee, we like to kick off the show by saluting the brave men and women serving in every branch of our military around the world who are tuning in on the Armed Forces Radio Network. We want to thank all of you for the daily sacrifices that you and your families are making to protect our freedoms and our liberties. We also want to thank our veterans for all that you and your families have done for us over the years. It is through your strength and your efforts that our way of life is even possible. Folks, if you see a member of our military when you're out and about, whether it's in the airport, at a restaurant, at the mall, wherever you may be, please stop for a moment and tell them thank you. They are our real heroes. Our sincere thanks as well to Sean Cruz and the wonderful folks over at the Armed Forces Radio Network. It is such an honor for us to have Next on the Tee being a part of your network. You can find our show by going to armedforcesradionetwork.org. Also want to continue to remind our veterans out there, please check out globalvoiceforveterans.org. It is a great site with news and articles and a wealth of information specifically designed for our veterans out there that I'm sure you're going to find both beneficial and interesting to you. Again, globalvoiceforveterans.org. All right, now joining me on the French Lick Resort guest line is Doug Hollandsworth. Let me give you a little more background on Doug. He is the founder of the Georgia Golf Trail and Georgia Golf and Travel. He has been a leader in the golf industry for marketing and PR for well over 25 years. He has provided marketing expertise to companies like Volvo, Bridgestone Golf, Cadillac, Mizuno, PGA West, TPC Sawgrass, the PGA Tour, the Champions Tour, and the LPGA as well. He hosted the golf show for 8+ years that you probably heard on WCNN. I know I was a regular listener here in Atlanta, and I'm very excited that he has taken time out of his morning to join me on the show. Good morning, Doug. Thanks for being a part of the show today.
Chris, good morning. Thank you very much for having me. And can I say, first off, I want to first say thanks again to allow me on the show, but also compliment all our servicemen and women as well, and also our veterans. So I want to say that up front. Thank you very much for all what you do. But, hey, I want to say also that, hey, that was a great opening line. Can you send that to me so I can use it? Because that was great. I'm not sure anybody said it as nicely as you. So I got the big head. I ain't even got started talking yet. So that was great. Thanks.
Absolutely. So, Doug, I want to start with the work that you're doing for the Georgia Golf Trail. People may not be, as aware of it as they should be. And I got to be honest with you, Doug. Before I moved to Atlanta, which has been about 20 years ago at this point, I lived down in Orlando for about 12 years where they've got a golf course on, it seems like, every street corner. I continue to be surprised at how little promotion the state of Georgia does for the courses that we have around the state, plus, quite frankly, how much it costs to play here in the state of Georgia. Why isn't there more promotion of the golf courses that we have?
Well, that's a great question, and that's something as a lifelong resident of the state of Georgia, I knew in the 25 years that you mentioned that I have been in the golf industry. I have worked with many of certainly golf resorts, and again, I can also tell your listeners that French Lick is absolutely wonderful, and if they're ever in the area or planning a vacation, look at that because that is a wonderful place. But we've got some great places here in Georgia, and it was just never I don't know what the right word is in terms of exploited, in terms of just showing other people around the world, what we have. Everybody, knows what we have the first full week in April over here in Augusta, and that's wonderful and exciting, and I'm a part of it every year. But after that, nobody knows really about what Georgia has to offer, and so as I continue to work with all these other resorts and states, I just kind of came up with the notion that we needed to do something here in Georgia, and we've got some wonderful golf courses. We have a great state for doing that because we're so area-wise. We go from the mountains in North Georgia to certainly Atlanta, which is one of the biggest cities in the United States, and largest airport, and to some other great places. We have a great lake area here, Lake Oconee, that's out toward Augusta, and then certainly down on the coast of Georgia, from Savannah, which was the first city back in 1733 that James Oglethorpe founded, and one of the first original 13 colonies, and and so much to do there in Savannah. And then going on down to the Golden Isles, which is a group of islands that a lot of the PGA Tour players live there. And great place. They have a PGA event there. They're on Sea Island in November every year. So another wonderful place. So I really got to thinking about 5 years ago and said, hey, we need to do something about this. And because of my connections and my company that I ran with golf marketing, and certainly being an old media guy like you mentioned, and I just put it on myself to figure out, let's see what we can do. So I went to the state of Georgia Tourism Department and said, hey, we need to do this, and they agreed, and so but they put it back on my shoulders and said, hey, you're the golf guy, you do it, we'll support you, whatever. So we've done a little bit each year to grow. We're in our fourth year, and very excited about what we can do. And I tell people, I said, we're Georgia. If everybody knows where Georgia is, we're located right here in the middle of the Southeast, and people, as you say, are on their way to Orlando a lot to see Mickey or other resorts down in Florida, or certainly some great places over in South Carolina or Alabama. North Carolina has some great golf, and so they would just pass right through the state and not know anything about golf. So we are changing that, and I am very proud to also be associated with the Bobby Jones family, and we all know that Bobby Jones resided here in Georgia, started the Masters, but certainly did many other things here in Georgia. So we want to promote our history, and so I talked to them, and they were very favorable about being a part of the trail and thought this was great. And so it's the Georgia Golf Trail presented by Bobby Jones, and Bobby Jones being the apparel company, and which is headquartered here in Atlanta, and very excited about that relationship. So there was many things that we're trying to do, and not just promote golf from Georgia to the world, but just show people how great our state is if they would like to come and live here or come and have corporate meetings or, have big events, things like that. So, by nobody doing anything, it wasn't going to happen. So I took it upon myself and very excited about where we are. And I think starting this year, we're really going to be able to do a lot of things that many other people will see. And, it's not just golf. We've got some great attractions here in Georgia. I could go on and on and on about what there is here to do in Georgia. But it's, if you're looking for a place to come and visit for a while, or if you're on your way somewhere else and you want to stop off for a couple of days, we'd love to, host you. They certainly can go to our website. They can call us and talk more about it at georgiagolfandtravel.com and see all the stuff on the web. And again, if you're interested in real estate, we work with a real estate company here in Georgia to talk, people through and say, hey, I'm tired of living in the north, and I'd love to, come south, and so it's a great state to be in, and I would love to tell you a little more about the trail and what we're trying to do there, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, we hear an awful lot about, Doug, about the Robert Trent Jones Trail, right, that goes through Alabama. Talk about the courses that you've got on the Georgia Trail.
Well, the nice thing about it is I worked with a lot of these courses over the years, and the difference between the Alabama Trail and us is the Alabama Trail is all owned by one company, and all courses were done by Robert Trent Jones Jr., and it's a great place over there. I actually worked with them for many years, and they just did a great marketing. And so that was one of the reasons I thought, hey, if Alabama can do it, why can't we do it? So we have 23 courses on the trail, and we tie them in and around the four major interstates that go through the state. And so, like I said, I mean, you can be in the mountains in a couple of hours from Atlanta, and just enjoy some great golf up there. I mean, there's, Kingwood is one of our courses up there. There's plenty of other courses that are up there. Brasstown Valley, which is one of my favorite mountain resorts anywhere in the world. It's just a beautiful location. They're up on Lake Chattooga and right next to the North Carolina. And as you come down to Atlanta, and one thing too I want to mention is that we just don't run out and pick a golf course. They have to have accommodations. They don't have to be a resort. It works out nice, for especially our visitors that want to come to the state of Georgia. But they have to have accommodations in order to be a part of the trail. And we're not looking to, to be 50 or 60, resorts or members on the trail. We want to keep it, select and go from there. But, as you come on down to Atlanta, we have some great golf here in Atlanta that's part of the trail, Lake Lanier Islands, Stone Mountain, which I grew up playing for many, many years. Great. Robert Trent Jones Sr. Has one of his courses there. And then you move on out to Augusta, like I mentioned, on Lake Oconee, and just have some great rentals on Lake Oconee is certainly a worldwide wonderful place there to come and stay at the Ritz-Carlton. They have 6 golf courses if you'd like to play. Certainly a big real estate development there. But another couple are his Harbor Club, again, right there on Lake Oconee, another great place. And Cuscawillow, which is a very unique golf course, and you certainly would want to be about that. Then you move on down to I-95, and we get a lot of people from the north, coming down I-95. They're going into Florida. Oh, gosh, and we have some great golf courses there in the Savannah area, and one of the best that used to host a Champions Tour event for 14 years is the Savannah Harbor Club at the Westin, right on the Savannah River overlooking downtown historic Savannah. I mean, you can't get any better than that. I've stayed there a few times, and it's wonderful, and the shopping and the dining and and Savannah is just great. Visit Savannah is just a wonderful place. We actually had a TV and radio crew down there last fall doing some things, and as you come on down, the Golden Isles that I mentioned. I mean, there's some great golf there. Sea Island is certainly well renowned, but they have prices, for all the golfers out there. So certainly, look at Sea Island, and then the King and Prince is one of my favorite. I don't know if you've ever been down there, Chris, but it's a great golf course, great old hotel. It's on the Historic Hotels of America, right on the ocean. Jekyll Island, you can't beat Jekyll Island and what they have there, and the Jekyll Island Club Hotel, which is an old hotel that was built by the Vanderbilts of the world years ago, and as their vacation retreat, and Sea Palm. So there's quite a few things there in the Brunswick area, and then we won't want to forget some of our other favorite places across the state. Callaway Gardens, which is on the western side of the state, used to host a PGA Tour event for many years. And just a great place, 2 great golf courses, great things for the family. This is certainly a major family destination, just about, maybe an hour south of Atlanta, and very easy access to. But also some of our greatest courses that we got are our state parks. And Georgia State Parks was named by Condé Nast a couple of years ago as the best state parks in the United States. And so they have 8 golf courses that are part of the state park program, and you cannot go wrong with one of their leading ones in the South is Lake Blackshear there at Georgia Veterans. So there you go. I know they do a big veterans golf tournament in the fall each year. Great job. But some of these golf courses are just not known, and this is what we're trying to do, and so you certainly they have their own website, but again, you can go to georgiagolfandtravel.com and find out more information about that. And so it's a mixture of high end, middle of the road, Chris, down to the state parks, which are certainly more expensive wise in terms of affordable, for people that can stay in the cottages or some of the cabins that they have are great. But it's just a great mixture. But this is something I knew that we had to have in order to get national and international attention. The nice thing with working with the state of Georgia Tourism is they help us promote Georgia throughout the world, and so we're very excited about being a part of that. They help us in that way. They allow us to be at all the visitor centers across the state, which is great in terms of having brochures and banners and other things there to promote our golf. So there's many things that the state of Georgia Tourism does, and then the other nice thing is the Department of Natural Resources, which is the state parks. They're a big supporter of what we're doing, and so we're really trying to promote not only the golf courses there, but also the state parks, which is, very, again, family friendly. And then, we want to certainly promote corporate work there at a lot of the state parks. So it's just great. It's a great start to what we've done. We've got a lot of continued work. I mean, Alabama's trail has been around 22 years. And, certainly Florida's 25% of all golf in the United States, and you certainly know that living down there in Orlando. And with Myrtle Beach and Kiowa and Charleston area over there, South Carolina does a great, thing in terms of golf. So it's just a wonderful thing that we started. I'm very excited. The governor, who I've met with here in Georgia a few times, he's very supportive of what we're doing. And so that's always good. So we've got a lot of things else, like I mentioned, we want to do with the real estate, and we want to get events here in Georgia, work with the corporate companies. And so we have a lot of other projects that are on our agenda. And so we're gradually working up to promoting Georgia as a premier golf destination there, Chris.
And Doug, I got to imagine, as you were putting, the Georgia Golf Trail together and talking to a lot of the golf courses and probably visiting most of them as well, I have to imagine you learned an awful lot about the history of golf. And what are some of the things that you came across that surprised you?
Well, and some of the things that are just great, again, following the steps of Bobby Jones is just kind of exciting. And people can go on the website there, Georgia Golf and Travel, and click on Bobby Jones and see a lot of interesting things. And one cool thing, too, is Bobby Jones left us way too early. And so his grave is downtown Atlanta at a big cemetery. And people go and you might have been there and seen this, where they put golf balls at his headstone and things like that.
I'm one of them.
About that. Down at Jekyll Island, there's a 9-hole golf course that was started when they started building these big homes for these rich people that came from the north. And so playing that historic course that's over 125 years old is just kind of neat just to feel the history. We actually had an event out there that we played with old, gutta percha balls and dressed up, with ties and that was really cool. So that, I didn't know that until we, kind of started doing that. There's just a lot of history here in Georgia with golf, and like I said earlier, we certainly want to continue to promote our rich history of golf and what we have to do and how we've tied into it. So that's one reason we're excited about being part of the Bobby Jones, company and what we do. And some other neat things that, Bridgestone Golf is headquartered here in the Atlanta area. Mizuno is headquartered here in the Atlanta area. The top 3 golf cart manufacturers, are here in Georgia. So that kind of, we got a lot of golf that's headquartered here, and so we got to continue just to build off this and show people what all Georgia has. But I really think one of the top drawing points here, Chris, is that we have whatever you want. If you want to go up in the mountains, if you want to, like I said, stay here in Atlanta and play and do a lot of the fun things downtown, eat some great places, or come out to the lake or the coast. I mean, you cannot beat the destination there in Savannah and the Golden Isles and other courses that are up and down the Georgia coast. I mean, it's really fantastic and very easy access. People really don't realize that Georgia is the largest state east of the Mississippi. So we've got a lot to offer here in Georgia, and we hope your listeners, if they get close to Georgia, will stop in and find out more information. If somebody would like to have a newsletter where you can sign up for drawings that we have, from Bristol golf balls to rounds of golf to resort stays, just go to the website, Georgia Golf and Travel, A&D Travel, and go up on, click up on the right-hand corner of the home page and click on newsletter and sign up, and you'll be entered into the drawing of what we have going on that month. So plus, you can find out more information, and we send out a newsletter every month that you would be included in that. So a lot going on. We're very excited. Finally turning some heads here, Chris, in the state of Georgia with the help of the governor and other legislatures, and excited about what the future holds. And we'd love everybody to come to Georgia and check us out.
That's fantastic stuff. I'm talking to Doug Hollandsworth here on Next on the Tee. Doug, one more before we let you go. And I'm a big fan of Jack Nicklaus, and I saw a picture of you with Mr. Nicklaus. Curious, what was it like getting to spend some time talking with him?
It was first time I met Jack was down in Puerto Rico, and you kind of starstruck. I was in the business already. And the nice thing, and I'll tell it real quick, the nice thing that I've loved about golf and how I got into business was years ago, being able, as a younger person, being able to stand so close to these golfers. And, it's not like you're down on a baseball field where they're way down there, or a football field where all the players are way out on the field and you can't get near them. Golf, in that sense, it's just really cool. It's sitting at the tee and watching these guys. But being able to meet Jack for the first time was very exciting, and got to talk to him and got a few pictures made, and not as tall as one thing I've noticed. I'm only 6'2", but it's not, these guys on the tour are not as big as they look on TV. And when I met John Daly, I'm thinking, this guy's this massive guy, but he's really not. He's a bigger guy, but he was only about 5'10", and so I'm like, you look different on TV. So, but that's always been too. The golf community and the hospitality industry has just been really cool, and I've certainly got to meet a lot of celebrities over the years. When I had my radio show, we did different remotes and went different places and got to be a lot of places. First time I met Tiger was, it was kind of cool, and so it's a fun thing to be able to be a part of, and it's a dream that I've had for many years before getting in this, and so very excited about what we're trying to do here, and certainly could use any help or any ideas that anybody had. I'd love to hear them. But your buddy that's coming on next, Dennis Cohn, is a good friend of mine, and excited about what he's done over the years with the Caddie and program that he's done in the Hall of Fame, and he's helped me do some stuff here in Georgia as well, and he's just right below me here in the state of Florida. So great guy. So I hope your listeners get a lot out of that. But very excited about what we're doing. We'd love to hear from you. Sign up for the newsletter, get a chance to win some valuable prizes, and we look forward to coming back on your show, buddy, and talking more about the golf in general, because I've done stuff all over the world with golf, and going from there.
Wow, you're always welcome on this show, Doug. Remind our listeners one more time, how they can find you and what you're doing both online and over social media as well.
Well, quite a few things, and there's if you go to the website, Georgia Golf and Travel, if you go over to the right-hand side, there's a 30-minute program that we have here in Georgia on Georgia Public TV. It's called the Georgia Traveler, and a couple of years ago we went around to all the golf courses and played one hole on each golf course and then talked about it, and it is a lot of fun. So it is certainly worth, if you want to kind of, things I've talked about, on there, watch the 27-minute program and see what we're doing. But it was a lot of fun. So that's an easy way to get involved, and certainly you can go in there and see all the things we have there on the website from all the trail, and you click on the icon logos, and it'll go right to their page on the Georgia Golf Trail to kind of tell you where they're at. And what they do, and then you certainly can click on to their website and go from there. So we look forward to hearing from your listeners. Again, very proud of what you guys are doing out there. Thank you very much all over the world. It makes our jobs here safer, and we certainly appreciate it, and you probably don't get thanked enough. So thank you from the gentleman here in Georgia. So thanks, Chris, for having me on.
Absolutely, Doug, and thank you for adding that in, and thanks for taking time out of your morning to be a part of the show. I definitely look forward to having you coming back on, and hopefully we'll do that again real soon. In the meantime, Doug, all the best to you and you and your family, my friend.
Thank you very much. I miss my radio days, so it's always exciting when I get to get on a radio show. Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely, Doug. Take care. That is Doug Hollandsworth. Again, the site is GeorgiaGolfandTravel.com. Great stuff. Georgia Golf Trail, certainly long overdue. So kudos to Doug for the work he's doing to hopefully bring more of our folks and our friends from around the world to the state of Georgia. And we look forward to catching up with Doug again, hopefully here real soon. All right, before we get to my next guest, Dennis Cohn, I want to give a shout-out to our new friends over at the World Golf Village, located in historic St. Augustine, Florida, just south of Jacksonville. The World Golf Village is the ultimate golf vacation destination and a true paradise for fans of the game. The Village, as it's often referred to by the locals, is the home of the World Golf Hall of Fame, where the greatest players and contributors are honored, including more than 70,000 square feet of displays for, trophies and personal memorabilia, a lot of the things from the legends of the game. The World Golf Village boasts 2 championship golf courses, including the King and the Bear, co-designed by Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus. And Sam Snead and Gene Saracen put together a masterpiece called the Slammer and the Squire. Golfers looking to tune up their game, well, they've got a great golf school at the PGA Tour Academy, featuring the latest in technology and world-class instructors as well. Luxurious stay at the Renaissance Hotel right there on the property at the World Golf Village, offering an array of the amenities that you're looking for, dining options, premier services. No matter what time of year or the length of your stay, World Golf Village is sure to deliver an unmatched experience for your family and your friends. You're going to have a world of memories that are going to last you a lifetime if you go down there. For more information, visit them online at worldgolfvillage.com or give them a call, 1-800-948-4653. All right, we're going to get to my next guest, Dennis Cohn, on the other side of this station identification.
You're listening to Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, heard around the world on the Armed Forces Radio Network.
All right, now joining me on the French Lick Resort guest line is Dennis Cohn. Let me give you some background on Dennis. He is the founder and CEO of the Professional Caddies Association. He also served as the president of the Junior Golf Association down in Central Florida. He was inducted into the Caddie Hall of Fame back in 2011, and I'm very honored to have him with me on Next on the Tee. Good morning, Dennis. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you very much for having us on. You hear me okay?
Absolutely. You're fantastic. So,
okay, good. First, I got to give a shout-out to my friend Doug. I didn't know he was going to be on, but Doug and I work together with a company he has called the jdhgroup.net, and have a lot of opt-in emails for the golf community, but a great guy, and we've going to try to follow what he's done in Florida, and that's another story. We won't get into that today, but thanks again for having the PCA on here, because the caddies are coming back, believe it or not. There's a move. Can't get into the details right now, but there was a meeting at the PGA show with 20-something caddy companies, and I'll give you the first heads up on it when I can, okay?
No, I appreciate it, because that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, Dennis, is, when you look back, historically, a lot of the legends of the game got their start by being caddies. It's sort of something that, it's unfortunate that's gone away. I know, as a father of a 15-year-old boy that, starting to really, love the game would be wonderful for, kids his age to be able to go out and be caddies. It's a shame that, we've sort of lost that, if you will.
Well, everybody, the Tiger effect didn't quite take. They thought with Tiger, and he did a great job for golf and still does, but it didn't really get the kids out there like he wanted to. And, we've determined of all of our things we've done. We started a Caddy for Kids program in Orlando at the Winter Park Country Club, and 3-week pilot program, and we had kids coming out to earn community service hours, like from Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, the church school there. And so we found out that then over 50% of the kids that came out were female. And the exit interview the majority of the people that were there had never been on a golf course, and they came away saying, hey, this is great. You know, I got community service hours, made $20 tip, $5, whatever. And there's like excited about this game. I said, looks like a fun game. So if you want kids to play golf, the first thing you got to do is get them to the golf course. And if you can get them there, to for caddy, chase golf cars, speed up the game, you know, help fix the greens, get members happy. Over 90% of the Americans have never even had a caddy experience. So, you know, in America, there's 90% golf cars and 10% caddies, and you leave America, it's the opposite.
Yeah, no, I mean that's exactly right. You know, I mean, and you know, part of the game that golf carts has taken away. You know, some of the health benefits and the other things that the game has to offer is the opportunity to walk a golf course. I think you get the fellowship better, with your buddies when you're out walking. You talk more. You're together as a foursome as opposed to split up in twosomes, two in this cart, two in that cart, and you sort of go your own separate ways. I think that's a part of the game that I mean, obviously the pros, we see them out there walking the golf course and they get that piece, and whether they're talking with one another or not is a personal thing. But I think that's a part of the game that we lose by not being able to walk the golf course more.
Somebody asked me one time, what do you lose in the game by driving a golf cart? And you lose the focus. And what I mean is, when you're driving a golf cart and you're not in a golf cart, we go over to my ball and we jump out and you go, okay, how far are we, Chris? What do we got? You know what I mean? We have no idea where we are in the game. But when you're walking to your ball, by the time you get to your ball, you go to your ball to the left, I go to my ball, and by the time we get there, we both paced it off. We know how far it is. You visualize. You've lost the visualization of the game. You visualize the shot because you're walking up to your ball. You're looking at the shot. Jack Nicklaus and all the great pros, they stand behind their ball before they hit it, and where they look down the fairway. They're looking at their fans. They're looking at where that ball is going to land.
Yeah, and the other part about we're outdoors, right? We get the opportunity to enjoy the outdoors for a little while, and it's the scenery and and the tranquility and the peace of being out on a golf course. Like I say, you get the opportunity to talk with your buddies and talk about things that you might not otherwise have an opportunity to talk about during the course of your busy lives and that sort of thing. But the other piece is about being outside and enjoying the outdoors and the scenery and taking all of that in. That's part of the wonders of playing the game of golf is, golf courses for the most part are, very beautiful. There's a lot to see. There's a lot to take in. And I think we lose that by being in golf carts and kind of rushing through it and that sort of thing. It's unfortunate that we don't get more time to have caddies and have kids learn the game of golf and learn an appreciation and a love for the game by being out there and being a part of it. And then by not walking the golf course, we lose the appreciation for a lot of the beauty that we're surrounded by.
Well, no question about it. I'd like to just briefly touch about the history of PCA, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
We started TPCs coming up next week. We started in 1997. I was the agent for the Caddies on the tour for 3 years, and then it broke away with Marriott, and we started the Caddy Association. And 53 of the tour caddies came to a meeting, and we formed it. Then we went to the LPGA and got 35, and then to the senior tournament and got like 80, whatever it was. And then but I don't want people to think that the Professional Caddy Association means that it's only for professional. It's really about the average golfer that wants to learn golf through the eyes of a caddy. And in fact, we've written 2 books. The first one, Think Like a Caddy, Play Like a Pro, with Arnold Palmer and Ben Crenshaw, was doing very well. And it's about your inner caddy. Chris, when you're out there and you hear that little voice that says, lay up, don't try to go through that miracle hole, that's your inner caddy talking to you. It's really a voice from God. We call it inner caddy, though. And so I think that people have to realize that a caddy, there's a caddy inside you. You hear that little voice that says, even the one that says 6-iron or 7-iron, somebody's talking to you,
Mm-hmm. And, just kind of go back to the beginning, Dennis, when you thought about, put together the Professional Caddies Association, what hit you? What struck you that said, we need this?
Well, I ran the Junior Golf Association in Central Florida from 82 to 89 and the project manager and built a clubhouse at Timaquan. And during this time, Donnie Hammond became a good friend of mine and Payne Stewart. And we kind of put together the PCA, the foundation, with Donnie and I. And basically, that's what started. So when I went out and toured and caddied for a couple of times with Donnie at the Mexican Open, some fun caddying, realized that Squeaky had just passed away, and there wasn't anything out there for the caddy. There was nothing out there. I'm very involved in the Road Builders Association in Central Florida, and so I was familiar with the association work, and that was what it all started with that. And then eventually, after they didn't renew my contract, we broke away and started we call it the Tour Caddy Association Worldwide. We changed the name to professional, and now we have a generic email or brand that's the Caddy Association. But even when the word professional, people still think it's strictly, for only people on the TV, but it's really not. So it's there for everybody, and majority of the people, over the 28,000, have taken our education program online. The majority of them, that over 50%, only take it because they want to learn to think like a caddy and play like a pro and improve their golf game. So by having the knowledge of how a caddy works with the player, how they think through course management, it actually would lower your golf score, guaranteed, if you start working with some of our programs and some of our education stuff.
And one of the other things that I read that you're associated with, Dennis, is the Lifesaver Golf. You established Lifesaver Golf. Talk about what that is.
That's the new brand we introduced last year at TPC. And in fact, I did a radio show yesterday, and a statistic that the gentleman mentioned was over 75% of the golf courses are not equipped to handle a heart attack, as far as their PEEP staff being AED, CPR trained, and having the defibrillators on the carts. We had a caddy that died at Valhalla at the PGA Championship many years ago, 15 years ago, and it started a movement in the golf industry to get defibrillators on all the golf cars. Well, that fizzled out. So now we're trying to restore that, because one of the caddies over in the European Tour dropped dead from a heart attack, and the people don't know CPR and AED. So our goal is to get all the golf courses certified with my partner Danielle, lifesavergolf.net, .org, and then we want to get everybody certified, AED trained, defibrillators out there. In other words, if I have a golf course, there's 3 golf courses, and one of them is AED certified, PCA, and the other 2 aren't. And I got a heart problem. Which one of them am I going to play golf at? I'm going to play at the golf course that I know that somebody can save my life, because it's one of the top 5 places where people die from a heart attack, because people can't get to you fast enough when you're out there on number 10 or 15,
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to get everybody with the organization, and the PGA is working up in Georgia. She's up in the Georgia area, and she's working with the Georgia PGA, and that's great that you have Doug on there, because we're talking a lot about Georgia is definitely leading the way in our Lifesaver Golf, and certainly with Doug's mission. I haven't even talked to Doug about this yet, but we'll be doing that shortly.
And Dennis, having worked with, and as you mentioned, I think the number you put out there was 28,000. Folks have gone online to get your certification and to learn more about caddying and about the game of golf and that sort of thing. But I'm curious, do you mind sharing? You got to have a lot of caddy stories from guys that you've worked with or been around. What are some of your favorite caddy stories?
Well, you'd have to buy the book, Think Like a Caddy, Play Like a Pro, to get all. But I'll give you a couple of them. All right.
All right.
I never forget the time I was down at Craig Stadler, walking with Craig Stadler, and his somebody hit a ball out from the wrong place and hit somebody in the stand, and the person went down. The ambulance came over and the people and all of a sudden, something happened, and his caddy got hit. It was like all this happened in like 10 minutes, and the Stadler looked over at me and pointed at me and said, "You're next, Cone." And so I said, "No, I'm not." So I had to watch for golf balls all day long. But great guy. And then I remember that another time we were coming in. We were like 14th place, and Donnie's looking for me, and they sell shots of tequila and stuff on the side when you're walking down the fairway, over the Mexican Open, and I'll never forget, Donnie looked behind me and said, "Where are you at? Come with me." I'm back there. Craig Stadler sent his caddy over to buy us a couple drinks, because we were getting last hole, and Donnie said, "What are you doing?" They said, "I'm over here. Craig Stadler to buy me a cocktail. I got to spend time with the man, So anyway, great guy Craig Stadler is. He really is, and Donnie. But yeah, I can't get into all the good stuff.
All right, so we'll check that out in the book.
Yeah.
One of the guys that I read that you work with starting at a young age is Chris DeMarco. What was it like helping Chris grow his game?
Oh, Chris was fantastic. Well, he was the guy, and I'll tell you a good Chris story. We were running the junior golf program, and Chris was one day we were at the country club out there, and near his house, and I remember somebody came to me and said, Mr. Cohn, we got a problem. I said, what? He says, we're missing about 6 golf cars, and the kids are out there all over the golf course. Well, it was the course that Chris was a member, his dad was a member of, and so I had to kind of round up the kids. I mean, these kids were like, 12 years old at the time, and Chris had put together a group to go out and help us out and pick up the flags and pick up the stuff, he said, but that really wasn't, we didn't know that. So all we knew there was a bunch of kids that drove off on golf cars, but Chris was the leader of the pack, and I was so disappointed to see him lose the Masters. He had the Masters right there in his grip, and Tiger made an incredible putt.
Right.
I call it the Nike putt when it hung up there with the logo for about 10 seconds. But now Chris was determined and very passionate about what his game, and he grew into be a great player. Still is.
And speaking of the Masters, when we look back, Dennis, at this year's Masters and the struggles that Jordan Spieth had, particularly on the 12th hole, curious to get your thoughts. Did his caddy Michael Greller, did he do what you would have expected a great caddy to do, or was there something that you might have wished that he might have done differently, maybe to help Jordan kind of slow his mind down and his thinking down and that sort of thing before he took his drop and then played the shot that ultimately went back in the water?
Well, we don't know exactly what they discussed, but, I know myself personally, when I get in that situation where you just seem like you can't get out of the hole, I kind of do stepping back and just starting over the routine, and I think he didn't do that. He just kind of just went on. Jackson Nicklaus, I'm a pilot, so I have a checklist, and Jack Nicklaus, and I've got the 15-shot routine. But basically, you watch them; they do the same thing. And the first thing you do is you dress the ball and you visualize the ball on the green, and you go back in, you set your stance, set your grip, whatever your routine is. And I think he got out of his routine and didn't step back and start over in the routine again. And I think if he had done that, possibly it would have been different results. And it hurt a lot to see it. I know the caddy felt very frustrated because he couldn't do anything. And ultimately, some caddies think that they win tournaments, but really they don't swing the club. The caddies are there to support them and give them confidence and and help them step back and start over the routine.
And Dennis, to your point about helping to instill confidence and support the players, talk about some of the behind the scenes stuff at tournaments. What do the caddies do that we don't get a sense of appreciation for that really makes the caddy and the player a team out there on the golf course?
Well, it's changed a lot since we started in 1992. It used to be the caddies were more bag carriers, that back then. The old thing you probably heard, the caddy's supposed to only be there not to say anything, and supposed to be there, to show up, keep up, and shut up. But that's way back old. Nowadays, caddies are coaches. Caddies are friends. There's certainly a psychologist. There are a lot of different things, and the caddies more days now than ever before. They used to drive around to tournaments, and we used to drive around 4, 5, 6 to a van. I remember a good caddy story. I was sleeping in a motel room one time. There were 6 of us in one room with 2 double beds. So what we did was we flipped a coin to see who got the mattress or the box springs, and we put the mattresses on the floor, so 2 had to sleep on the box springs.
Wow.
So, but now they have airplanes. They fly. A lot of the players fly their caddies around, and a lot of the caddies can afford to take a ticket on an airline. But that's only the top one. There's still the caddies and the LPGA and the Buy.com and tours and the other tours. They're still struggling, and they're still driving around together. And it's a great group. There's a bond there. It's hard to explain exactly what it's like, but it's definitely there's definitely a caddy code that's out there, and they stay together.
One of my favorite caddies out on the tour, Dennis, is Kip Henley. I've been blessed to have Kip on the show before. So much fun talking with Kip. Have you ever had much interaction with Kip Henley?
No, sir. I don't really know him. We're trying to sell or merge the company and move it back to Orlando now. I just turned 70, and I got some health issues, and so I was just at our High School Hall of Fame induction over the weekend, and a couple of my friends, Rick Fletcher and some other people, were inducted, Commissioner Stewart was there, and we're trying to get the PCA somebody to come in and bring it back to Orlando. I started in Orlando, caddying and shagging balls and stuff at Dove Street Golf Course. I'm 6 generations from Street, and I really think I want to get it back to Orlando. We and merged the Caddie Hall of Fame with the Western Golf Association Chicago in 2011, and that's just gone fantastic. The Murray brothers went in last year, Jack Nicklaus the year before. Jack said, it's on YouTube, I never heard him say it till a few years ago, that if it wasn't for caddying for my dad, I'd never taken up the game. So that's a pretty powerful statement there.
Indeed. I'm talking with Dennis Cohn here on Next on the Tee. He is the founder and CEO of the Professional Caddies Association. Dennis, just a couple more before we let you go. We always see players and caddies, with their notebooks that they pull out of their back pocket, stuff that, the yardages and things of that nature. Talk about, the art, if you will, of stepping off yardage and the notes that they provide the players and the knowledge that they have, of the golf courses before the actual live tournament starts on Thursdays.
Yeah, well, Creamy Caroline was Arnold Palmer's one of the original caddies, and Creamy really started this along with Nicklaus's caddy, Angelo. And Angelo had the big wheel, that he used to go out and actually shoot the yardage before they had all this other stuff. But Creamy they called it the cheat sheet. And I'll never forget, he told me one time that Lee Trevino bought, I got to get one of your cheat sheets, and he did, because he'd go out and literally pace it off. And when I was in Pebble Beach about 5 years ago, and we inducted Lance Barrow out there, Jan Stevenson, who's in the Caddie Hall of Fame. Lance started off as a caddy. Chuck Will used to hire the caddies to go out, and the caddies would give hand signals to their caddies and say, okay, he hit a 4-iron, he'd throw up a 4, and then the caddy would have a headset on. He'd tell Chuck Will he hit a 4-iron, and Chuck would go up to Ken Venturi and say he hit a 4-iron, and Ken would say he hit a 4-iron. So, but now they do it all electronically, But that's how they did it. But anyway, the yardage books. When I was out there, and they had the yardage books, and there's several of the top caddies that make these yardage books up now, and Mark Long is one of the top ones out there. But even with the yardage books, even with the updated yardage books, knowing the course, what your notes were from last year, Bones at 8 o'clock in the morning was walking the course at Pebble Beach by himself, literally rechecking every note from last year to make sure the rock hadn't been moved or a trap had been added or whatever. Because they do this kind of stuff over the years. So there's not many of the good caddies out there that really will walk the course before the player plays. And Bones, I was a little impressed that Bones was walking the course at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Dennis, for our listeners who want to find out more information about, the great caddies of all time and your book and the things that you're doing, where can they go online to get that information?
Well, you can just Google in the PCA Dennis Cohn and just Google it in. And you can find YouTube stories, all kind of neat stuff on there. But PCAworldwide.com is our main site, PCAworldwide.com. And I will give away a book to one of your listeners and sign it if they can tell me how many majors that Bruce Edwards won in his almost 30 years with Tom Watson on the bag of majors, U.S. majors. How many? And Tom won 5 British Opens, but if they can tell you how many, you get that person's name and get the first 5 to give you the number, and I'll tell you what it is. Call me. I'll tell you later.
All right, very good, Dennis. Thank you so much for that, in particular, and for taking time out of your morning to be a part of the show. You're fantastic. I hope you'll come back again sometime and share more of your stories and your insights with us. Love to establish a relationship with you. You're really good.
Your show is awesome, and like I say, if we can get a potential partner for PCA to come to Orlando from this show, you'll have a new job, sir.
I'll be working hard on that for you, Dennis. I promise you that.
I appreciate it very much. God bless everybody, and world peace, please.
Thank you very much, Dennis. All the best to you and your family. Look forward to catching up with you hopefully again real soon.
Caddy on.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right.
That is Dennis Cohn. Again, he is the founder and the CEO of the Professional Caddies Association. So great stuff from Dennis. Holy cow. And how many majors did Bruce Edwards win on the bag? Let's get that. Let's get the answers. You can find me. Go to our Facebook page, whether it's mine, at Chris Mascaro or the shows at Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro. So give us the answer to the question, and we'll get those over to Dennis, and hopefully we get a couple of signed books out to our listeners. Great stuff. I really appreciate Dennis doing that for our listeners. All right, folks, it is time for me to put a bow on this episode of Next on the Tee. But before we close up shop, I want to remind you about our friends and our partner, PGA Tour Pro Jim Estes, and the great folks over at the Salute Military Golf Association. Let's hear a word from Jim about the great things that they're doing.
The Golf Association was created to provide rehabilitative golf experiences to the brave men and women who have been wounded while serving our country. Hi, I'm Jim Estes, PGA Golf Pro and co-founder of the Salute Military Golf Association. With my adaptive golf program, we've successfully helped thousands of soldiers in their recovery, both mentally and physically. The SMGA has been providing family-inclusive golf experiences across the country since 2007. To date, the SMGA has equipped more than 1,000 warriors with properly fitted golf clubs and has extended its clinic series to more than 8 chapter and affiliate locations across the U.S. If you are a wounded veteran interested in participating, or if you'd like to learn more about the Salute Military Golf Association and find a chapter closest to you, visit our website at smga.org. We've seen firsthand how impactful golf can be in aiding one's recovery. The Salute Military Golf Association, empowering wounded veterans one fairway at a time. Visit smga.org. That's smga.org.
Yeah, they are doing some really wonderful things there at the Salute Military Golf Association. God bless Jim and his staff and partners for what they are doing. Again, to find out more information, go to smga.org to see how you can get involved. All right, everybody, my sincere thanks again to Doug Hollandsworth and Dennis Cohen for making today's show so much fun for me to be a part of. I hope you really enjoyed it as well. Please also check out our sister show, Thursday Night Tailgate, with me and my co-host Bob Lazari and our announcer Joe LaGianuscia. That show airs live every Thursday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. You can stream it live from Blog Talk Radio, but you can also find it on armedforcesradionetwork.org. We are also on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, TuneIn, Stitcher, Player.fm, SoundCloud. You can find us all over the net. We're joined on that show every week by legends and stars from around the NFL. Please also check out both shows and give us a like. That's important to us as well over on Facebook. Again, Thursday Night Tailgate, Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro. And you can find us online. This show, nextonthetee.net and thursdaynighttailgate.com. From either site, you can stream or download any of our archive episodes for free, folks. Plus, you can keep up to date with who some of our future guests are going to be by going to both sites as well. Thank you again for choosing to listen to this show today. We know you have a lot of choices for shows and podcasts out there to take a listen to. We really appreciate the fact that you have made Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro one of them. Until next week, hit 'em straight, my friends.
You've been listening to Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, where PGA and LPGA legends, pros and top instructors, and media members go to tell their stories. Join us the same time every Saturday to hear more stories about the game we love from the people who love sharing those stories with you. It's all about the great game of golf. It's all about the great game of golf.